everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. Today we're going to cover another grammar pattern, and our grammar pattern today is basically going to teach us how to say I get the feeling that blank, and the blank there will be, of course, whatever you're feeling about. So in Japanese, this will be basically blankような気がする. So first up, let's take a look at the construction of this grammar pattern. We can use this with basically any kind of word, verbs, nouns, adjectives, not adjectives. When we're using it with verbs, they gotta be basically just in a plain form. Nouns, we're gonna need the particle no right after the noun before we add yo na ki ga suru. Adjectives, we don't really need to add anything. We just add that yo na ki ga suru. For na adjectives, we can use the particle na, or we can just use no yo na. And so to take a look at the actual wording of yo na ki ga suru, this is basically, we've done a video on no yo na and no yo ni. This is basically going to translate to like. So when we say I look as blue as a fish, we would use no yo na. And if we were describing like an action, I move as fast as a cheetah or something like that, that would be no yo ni. So yo na and yo ni are basically saying like something else. That translation into the word like is going to somewhat apply here too, because this grammar pattern here, blank yo na ki ga suru, can actually just be used as blank ki ga suru without the yo na, but the yo na that we have here that translates to like is adding kind of a softness to it, to express a more kind of vague feeling. So when you say that you feel like something, or you get the feeling like something, if it's not something that you're too sure of, you can add yo na to make it seem I feel like, as opposed to just I feel, and that'll make it more soft or softer. So I'll probably mention that more when we jump into the example sentences. I'll say like this is an example of something that's kind of soft, so you wouldn't really say it with certainty ki ga suru, so you use yo na. And yeah, if we want to take a closer look, the ki in ki ga suru is basically just feeling. Then ga suru basically describes the action of getting the feeling or feeling that way. And I actually think we'll jump into the example sentence right now. I thought there was more contextual information to cover, but I suppose that this grammar pattern is pretty straightforward. Blank yo na ki ga suru to mean I get the feeling that blank, or I get the feeling like blank. Okay, so our first example sentence, we'll do a simple one. We'll do ame ga furu yo na ki ga suru. This is simply going to translate to I get the feeling that it's gonna rain, or I feel like it's gonna rain. Let's break down the sentence bit by bit. First up, we have a very standard phrasing, ame ga furu. This is a typical way to say raining or rain falls. So ame means rain, the ga is marking as the subject, then the word furu means fall. So rain falls, basically. And this little phrase right here is actually what we're gonna use to put into the blank of our grammar pattern construction here. So blank yo na ki ga suru, ame ga furu is gonna be the blank. So ame ga furu yo na ki ga suru means I get the feeling that blank, or I get the feeling like blank, it will rain. So yeah, pretty darn simple, right? Notice that the furu in ame ga furu was in a plain form, so we could use it with the grammar pattern, and yeah, everything worked out. For our next example sentence, we have the line, 前にあの人を見たことがあるような気がする. This line right here is going to translate to, I get the feeling as if I've seen that person before already somewhere, or something like that. Let's break down the sentence bit by bit. First up, we have the phrasing 前に, which just means basically before. We have the demonstrative adjective ano to mean that. It's going to be modifying the word right after it, which is hito. So hito means person, so ano hito, that person. We're going to mark that person as a direct object, so we put the direct object marker o right after it. And then we put our verb, which is mita, the plain past form of the verb miru, to mean to see. So saw that person, basically. And now we're going to use mita in another grammar pattern, the ta form of a verb plus koto ga aru to mean to have done that verb. So mita koto ga aru means to have seen, specifically to have seen that person. So then what we have so far, 前にあの人を見たことがある is going to mean to have seen that person before. And we are actually going to use this whole phrase right here as the blank in our grammar pattern that we're talking about today, blank yo na ki ga suru. So all we have to do now is add that phrasing, yo na ki ga suru, to mean I get the feeling that blank, and that blank is, of course, I have seen that person before. I get the feeling that I have seen that person before. And so yeah, it might be important to notice here how this example sentence is pretty indicative of how you're not too sure. It's kind of that like, vague feeling or this weird feeling of like deja vu. Oh, I've seen that person before. So you use yo na気がする as opposed to just気がするbecause there's a lot of vagueness to it. For our next example sentence then, maybe we should do the opposite. Let's do an example sentence where there is a decent amount of certainty, so you're not going to use the yo na in yo na気がする. You'll just say気がするstraight up to mean I feel that blank. So for our example sentence now, we'll have 彼女は約束を守る気がする. This is going to translate to I get the feeling that, or I feel that, or whatever you want to phrase it as, that she'll keep her promise. Let's break down the sentence bit by bit. First up, we have 彼女, which means she or girl, in this case she. We have the particle wa to mark as the topic. We have the word 約束, which means promise. It's going to be the direct object, so we put the o right after it, and then we have our verb, which is mamoru, which means to protect. 約束を守る literally means to protect a promise, but when we naturalize into English, of course, it should be to keep a promise. And this is going to be the blank that we put into our grammar pattern construction because it works out here. The last word in that phrase is the verb mamoru, which is in a plain form, so it works out. We can just plug it in now. And so we do not yo na気がする, but気がする, because we don't want to include that softness or that more vagueness because just look at the sentence. I have a feeling that she'll keep her promise. I feel that she'll keep her promise. That's kind of expressive of how much you trust her. So if you trust her, you want to kind of say this with more certainty than just, oh, I get the feeling that she'll do it. So then, 彼女は約束を守る気がする is going to translate to, I feel that she'll keep her promise, or I get the feeling that she'll keep her promise. Maybe the certainty won't translate into English too much. Let's go through one more example sentence. We'll go back to ような気がする. We have the line みんなが私たちの秘密を知っているような気がする. This is going to translate to I get the feeling like everybody knows our secret. So let's break down this sentence bit by bit. First up we have みんな, which means everybody, everyone. We're going to mark them as the subject with the particle ga. Then we're going to put our direct object in here, which is 私たちの秘密. This is a noun of a noun modification here. 私たち means we. Himitsu means secret, so that translates to secret of us, or just our secret, basically. We're gonna mark that noun of a noun modification phrase with the direct object particle o, because it's the direct object to the verb that's about to come, which is the verb 知っている, which is the tail form of the verb 知る plus いる, and that translates basically to know. So everybody knows our secret. みんなが私たちの秘密を知っている. This is the phrase that we're going to want to put into our blank of our grammar construction here to then translate to I get the feeling that everybody knows our secret. And so yeah, that's basically exactly what we do. We just plug in ような気がする now, and all together once again, みんなが私たちの秘密を知っているような気がする. And so yeah, you can kind of see how I get the feeling that everybody knows our secret. There's not too much certainty to it. You get the sense that it's possible that the speaker is just being somewhat paranoid, so they're saying it without too much certainty to it. So yeah. And that is gonna wrap it up for our example sentences in the lesson. Blank ような気がする to mean I get the feeling that blank. This is a relatively simple grammar pattern, but it is pretty useful because you know, sometimes you want to express how you feel about something, not too certainly about it, but yeah, you want to talk about your feelings a lot. So go forth and use this grammar pattern. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed your time doing so. If you'd like to express that, you can like the video, leave a comment below, or subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to support more of these video lessons, please do consider checking out our Patreon page. Also included on the screen right now are, of course, a bunch of links on where to find and follow us elsewhere online. Lastly, check out our Discord server. We've got a community of hundreds of so if you're looking for somebody to voice chat with just to practice speaking Japanese, or if you just want to talk about anime or music or manga. And with that, see you next time.